With spring break kicking off tomorrow, officers in Aransas Pass wanted to make sure convenience stores and restaurants were following the law and not selling alcohol to minors. They wound up busting 2 businesses for doing just that. Undercover minors worked together with police, visiting local stores and restaurants suspected of selling alcohol to minors. Officers say a clerk at the Sunrise Market on South Commercial Street and an employee at Taqueria Guadalajara, a restaurant just down the street, were arrested when they did let the undercover person purchase alcohol. Police say merchants who ignore the law are subject to arrest and a big fine.